And thank you for staying with us. The U.S. The Treasury, I should say, and the IRS have introduced some new regulations overseeing digital asset transactions by brokers, and they're targeting tax evasion as well as offering opportunities for clarity for taxpayers. The question is, what exactly does all this mean for taxpayers? And here now, telling us more and bringing us more insight, we have got the head of government solutions for TaxBit, and he is Miles Fuller. And we thank Miles for joining us here on Open. Miles, thanks for being with us.
Hey, good morning, Darren. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and I appreciate you staying with us. And listen, I want to get right at this here because this is a change of sorts, and taxpayers are looking out and saying, how is this affecting me? So let's get right into it. How is this really going to affect taxpayers?
Well, at an individual taxpayer level, I think these new regulations are actually going to impact taxpayers in a very favorable way. And the reason for that is because up until this point, if you were a taxpayer or an individual who was conducting transactions in the cryptocurrency or digital asset space, you never really got good information about those transactions so you could prepare and accurately do your taxes. You actually had to spend a lot of time digging through transaction information and trying to do a calculation, a very complex calculation, to put it on your tax return and then hopefully file it correctly with the IRS. These regulations are designed to provide you with accurate information that's very easy to read and understand that'll be given to you by a broker, a digital asset broker. That's a term that's in the regs, which is really just the various cryptocurrency exchanges you might use to conduct transactions.
And so when we talk about these regulations, let's talk about some of them and actually how they actually play out. So for somebody who may be a novice and saying, hey, what does this actually mean? What is actually happening? Give us a little walkthrough.
Sure. So what'll happen is the easiest way to analogize this is most of us as individuals, we work at jobs. We may at the end of the tax year, you get a W-2. That's something from your employer that says, hey, here was the amount of money we paid you during the year. It's on a form. It's very easy to read. You take information from that form and you put it on your tax return, your Form 1040. Maybe you put it into some tax software that you use or take it to your accountant. Separately, if you do investing, you may get a document, a form known as a 1099 that'll tell you what stocks you maybe bought or sold during a year and what the gains and losses on those transactions were. So really all that Congress is doing here and what the regulation package is providing individuals with those same type of documents. So it's just an informational document that'll tell individuals, here's what you bought and sold during the year with respect to cryptocurrency. And you can take that information and just plug it right into your tax return or give it to your tax preparer and then be ready to go and file in your tax return.
So how do I go about managing my assets given the fact that these new regulations are out there?
I don't think anything really has to change on an individual taxpayer end. There are going to be one thing that comes up is with cryptocurrency, due to the nature of it, some of those assets may be managed through other custodial institutions. So these would be exchanges, the Coinbases or Krakens or Geminis of the world. And some of those and cryptocurrency has the ability for you to manage those on your own in an individual unhosted wallet. And so you'll still be doing those. The forms you're going to get in this scenario are going to be the ones that the stuff that's managed through some sort of custodial or institutional thing, not the ones you manage on your own. So if you do have stuff that you are managing personally in an unhosted wallet, you would still need to be careful to track that information yourself. But for stuff that's managed by someone else, you'll be expecting to get this form.
We talk about business owners and how they're actually affected. They're going to ask the question too, how does it affect them, particularly when it comes to cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so for business owners, there's going to be a change here. Most business owners up until this point in time, as I mentioned, haven't provided really any information in a specific format to their customers. A lot of times they just make available the ability for a customer to export or download transactions from the business owner's website, whoever did this transaction. And so that's what's going to change. There's going to be a little bit of an investment on the side of businesses that operate in this space and provide services that enable other customers to trade or buy or sell cryptocurrencies. Those businesses will have to change a little bit how they operate to accommodate and be able to prepare and create these forms so they can give them to their customers and also provide a copy to the Internal Revenue Service.
Is there a way per se to get ahead of this? Know these new regulations are out there. How does an individual say, hey, I want to get ahead of this?
Sure. From an individual standpoint, they can obviously start tracking their data now. They can download stuff they have. From a business standpoint, because that's really where the burden is going to land for this, the businesses can now start talking to places like TaxBit. One of the services we offer is enabling businesses to prepare and provide these forms to their customers. So they could always reach out to us at our website, taxbit.com. So that's really the first step they need to take. The regs as proposed are only they're in a proposed format, which means in a couple months, there's actually the Treasury Department is expecting feedback, and they're going to have a public hearing where folks can comment about what they like or maybe don't like about the regs.
Yeah. So we know these regulations are coming and they're there. How long before they're actually enacted?
So right now, under the proposal, the enactment date is for this to start and go into effect for 2025. So stuff will be filed for the tax year 2025. So during that tax year, so you have about a year and a half to 2 years runway.
Yeah. Any special advice you want to give to people these days right now, knowing all this is coming down the pike?
No, I think I think for what everyone should understand is the time, at least from the business standpoint, the time to be prepared is now. And this also sends a clear message from the government standpoint that they're looking to beef up enforcement and transparency in this space, but they're also trying to take a stab here at making the life easier for individual people that are investing in this space, who for years have had trouble with trying to accurately calculate their taxes, and as a result are inherently nervous about what they put on their filings. And really, Congress and the Treasury Department here are trying to make that easier on individual taxpayers, and then also looking to help identify who the people are that are not reporting accurately.
How long has this been in the making?
So it's interesting. This has been in the making. This law, the law that created the basis for these regulations, was passed in November of 2021. So almost 2 years ago. So it's taken that long for the Treasury Department to formulate these regulations. It's a lot of people in the industry have been waiting to see what was going to come out. And then now reading them, it seems the Treasury Department tried to be fairly thoughtful in how they approached it. There's a lot of technical nuances in the cryptocurrency space, a lot of things that general laypersons don't understand. So I think the Treasury Department invested a lot of time trying to get it right. And even now in this proposed feedback window is asking a lot of questions and wants to hear a good feedback from individuals in the space.
Where are general places, I guess, people can get more information? Because for the average person, this may seem like something that's over their head, or, it's a lot to really muddle through. So for a person who's saying, listen, I really want to, do the right thing, make sure I'm properly prepared and filing right, where do they go?
So I think if they want to hear more, we have pretty good resources on our website at taxbit.com. There's a resources page there. And if you click there, we actually have a blog that tracks a lot of new information that comes out in the reporting space, as well as just general information about cryptocurrency assets.
So for yourself, I mean, looking at this right now, good thing, bad thing, how do you weigh this out?
I think overall this is a good thing. As I mentioned in my experience, there's a lot of people who really struggle to do their taxes accurately in the space, and this should free that up. And that's overall is going to be a net gain for the ecosystem to grow and become more mainstream, because you're going to make the burden of actually filing taxes and doing those accurately easier through these regulations.
Are we anticipating any challenges with these new regulations going into effect?
I don't think so. Obviously, it's new technology that has to be implemented. Some of these businesses that are operating in this space that'll be subject to these regulations have been operating for a number of years and have not been required in the past to provide this type of information. So those businesses now are going to need to change and adopt their systems. So that's obviously going to require a little bit of investment from those businesses, and that's going to be a little bit of a pain point. But overall, that's all. None of that is insurmountable, I would say.
Yeah. Well, Miles, I want to thank you for sharing with us. I mean, some new information that's out there. And of course, anytime, as you said, anything new that's out there, people always get a little sketchy, a little weird about it. But you provide some great clarity. And hopefully, if people have more information, they'll be able to tap into you. So thanks, my friend, for being with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Daren.
All righty, Miles Fuller, our guest here on Open. Now, if you want more information, please don't hesitate to visit the website at taxbit.com. And there you can get all of your questions answered. I'm Daren Jaime. We're going to take a quick break here on Open. We'll return right after this.